Joining us now on the program is the president of the Shades of Pink Foundation, Mary Pat Meyers. Mary, thank you so much for being with us today. Appreciate having you on today's program. First off, can we just take a moment and tell us a little bit about yourself and the history of the foundation? And you may have been muted there because I did not hear your initial response. So I'll give you a moment. Again, it's Mary Pat Meyers from the Shades of Pink Foundation at shadesofpinkfoundation.org. Mary, Mary Pat, do we have you with us?
Well, I'm unmuted.
Oh,
you hear me
now.
Okay.
Yes, so now we can hear you. Go ahead
Okay.
and just give us a little bit of information on the history and the mission of the Shades of Pink Foundation.
Yes, a little bit about me. I grew up in Ypsilanti. I have 5 siblings. I practice law, and I have been doing that for the last 40 years in personal injury. I am presently working with my husband here at Meyers Law. I became president of Shades of Pink in April of 2021 because I was just so drawn to the mission and to the cause. And I know we are all touched by breast cancer, whether it be personally, family, a colleague or a friend. So Shades of Pink Foundation was formed in 2005 by Dr. Benitez, a breast surgeon, and Susan Krieger. And they had indicated that they could not find resources for their patients who are undergoing breast cancer treatment. So established the foundation. And since 2005, what Shades of Pink's mission has been is to provide prompt funding, financial funding, to help reduce the stress of a breast cancer diagnosis. Our mission actually is to reduce financial stress for those in Southeast Michigan undergoing breast cancer treatment by providing prompt funding for daily living expenses. So I can explain more if you want me to.
Yeah, elaborate a little bit on some of these services that are provided or are aided by some of the funding that you're able to provide to these individuals and these families who are affected by breast cancer.
Yes. First of all, persons diagnosed with breast cancer, the journey is not the same for every patient. It could be different, for the person standing next to you. And so what Shades of Pink Foundation provides is funding for everyday living expenses, such as a mortgage payment or a rent payment, transportation, lease payment, car payment, or just the cost of transportation, which I think is grossly underappreciated given the extent of treatments that breast cancer patients go through. Utilities, childcare, insurance premiums. What we have found, and especially in this COVID era, is that many women, and breast cancer affects mostly women, either lost their jobs or lost their insurance. And with children at home during the COVID time, childcare became a bigger issue. What we found during that COVID era also is screenings were delayed, treatment was delayed, surgery was delayed. And so now what we're seeing are patients being diagnosed at a later stage in their cancer, which also increases the cost and puts that financial burden, on the patient.
And all of this is really done in part with partnership from individuals and others in the community to raise these funds and to provide these services to these families and these individuals affected by breast cancer, both during their treatment and even after. It still affects them for years, and the financial toll, as you mentioned, of a bout with breast cancer and multiple bouts with breast cancer can be quite significant. And that's why you have events like your upcoming A Walk at the Zoo. Tell us about that event and how people can participate and really help a lot of these individuals that you're serving in the near future.
Yes, the Shades of Pink Walk at the Zoo is in its 18th year. And the purpose of the walk, I see it as twofold, actually. One is just to bring awareness to the fact that, women with a breast cancer, the breast cancer diagnosis in itself carries one of the highest out-of-pocket costs of any of the cancers. And I know that sounds kind of odd, but there are studies that there are unique situations to breast cancer that just increases those out-of-pocket costs, even if a patient has insurance. So the walk is twofold. One is bring awareness to the need, and two is to raise funds. It is our signature event. This year it's April 29th, and it's from 7 o'clock in the morning until 12 noon. And you can register online at shadesofpinkfoundation.org, and you click on events, and you'll see a walk at the zoo. You register online. You can register individually or as a team. And then there's competitions between teams to raise the most money. And last year we had over 1,100 walkers. So this year our goal, our board has set high expectations this year. We hope to reach at least a higher goal than 1,100 and raise more funds this year so we can continue to help those in need in the community. And the money does stay right here in Southeast Michigan, our 9 counties.
And what's great too about this organization and having a fundraiser like that be able to bring in so much funds is, especially right now, that can really lead to a surge in being able to provide these services to even more people and an even greater extent, because I understand you just received a pretty big grant as well.
Yes, we're very excited and very grateful. The A.A. Van Elslander Family Foundation granted us $100,000 to jumpstart our 2023 fundraising year. And that grant alone will help us serve an additional 49 new applicants. So we're absolutely thrilled in the confidence they have given in donating that to us. And we hope that will encourage others to give as well, because again, like I said, our board has set high expectations this year, and we expect to meet new goals this year. And this grant from the Van Elslander Foundation has really just started our year off great, and will just benefit so many more.
You can find more information on shadesofpinkfoundation.org. Mary Pat, another minute or so with you today before we need to move on. Anything else we haven't discussed about Shades of Pink Foundation you'd like our audience to know at this time?
No, I think you asked really great questions. Maybe there are a couple of things. One, we're always looking for volunteers, and so if people want to volunteer, they can either go through the Share Detroit site that we have. We did find one of our new board members through Share Detroit, which was wonderful. And they can email the executive director of Shades of Pink at executivedirector@shadesofpinkfoundation.org. And then donations also can be made online. And but one thing we really want to do is help get the word out to those people in need. And so the word needs to get out to the social workers and nurse navigators at the oncology offices and hospitals that help identify patients in need. So
again, more information can be found on shadesofpinkfoundation.org. You can also find them on Share Detroit's website under the Find a Nonprofit section at sharedetroit.org as well. Mary Pat, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.